Hi everyone, this is your host Salvatore with Bearing the Light, and I want to talk to you today about the Niger-REGIN Square. It's a really fascinating square, magic square that was found in Gubbio, Italy, and it's about the Black Madonna again. And let's just get into it. Let's start the discussion for today. The Niger-REGIN Magic Square of the Black Madonna. It was recently exposed to the Niger-REGIN Magic Square found in Gubbio, Italy. Magic squares are typically designed in a palindrome formula that contain a multitude of hidden meanings in mathematics. Just like the SATOR Square, that you may or may not be familiar with, these devices are a form of mathematical and spiritual technology to protect and or invoke. The Niger-REGIN Square can be interpreted in many ways. It may mean Black Queen who protects the crops, or Black Queen who protects the Gauls, meaning the French. As this has a relation to Ceterina de Medici, who was Queen of France from 1547 to 1559 by marriage to King Henry II, and the mother of French kings Francis II, Charles IX, and Henry III. The central word seems to be of most importance, Galag, which has been debated and may be related to glagos, which is ancient Greek meaning soothing. If we break down the whole palindrome, all the words in the magic square, it says Niger, Anare, Galag, Arani, Regin. And if we look at that, that means Niger, black, Anare, to plow, Galag, which is the disputed word. It might mean soothing, or France, Gaul. It might have many other meanings. It's the central crux of the palindrome, so it might be kind of mean a lot of different things. It gets probably a lot of just hidden meanings. Arani meaning protection, and then Regin meaning queen. And this square, you can read it backwards, forwards, like all these different ways, and it still says the same words. It's like a play on the words so that it creates this magic square. You can find many magic squares throughout the Renaissance and the Middle Ages. Magic squares of the sun, the moon, the other planets, and for general other meanings. And they're usually, again, related to mathematics, numerology, sigils, and things like that as well. In Gubbio, Italy, the Niger-REGIN Square, which was discovered, carved in the cave of Sibilla Ugobina on Mount Engino. It's considered to be a word square, as we spoke about already, meaning Black Queen, and generally speaking, that's what we can decipher of what it means. It's seemingly of Neo-Templar origin, and it's dated between 1600 and 1800 CE. It was discovered in 2003, but unfortunately, it was ultimately destroyed by vandalism in 2012. Really, really unfortunate. But there's pictures, and we know about it, so that's why we're able to talk about it. I'd like to read for you now an article by what looks to be a magazine here, or at least an online newspaper from Cronaca Ugobina, and this is looks like just like a local article here. Notice from Umbria and Marche, which is regions in Italy. But anyways, this article, and I'll post it in the link, a link in the description below. It goes on to say Gubbio and the Mystery of the Niger-REGIN, interview with the anthropologist Teodoro, and it goes on to say down here, the Niger-REGIN Square could be a tribute, perhaps Neo-Templar, and it's kind of the stuff I was already talking about here. And it goes into saying, I'm skipping a little bit here, some stuff that I was already talking about, but the Gubbio, two local scholars, Mario Farinetti and Bruno Bartoletti, found in Gubbio in 2003 on a wall of the cave of Sant'Agnese also known as the Cave of Ugobina Sibyl, an engraving from the Renaissance period and of possible Neo-Templar origin. 5 words and 5 letters, each in Latin, which form a magic square or palindrome, which is readable, palindrome just means readable, identical from all sides, kind of what I was talking about before. Farnetti and Bertoletti published it in the article Gubbio, the Italian René Le Chateau, and the first and last words of the square are Niger-REGIN, which you talked about before, meaning Black Queen. Therefore, the symbol is traced back to a Templar cult of the Black Madonna. Here we come full circle again with the Black Madonna. In 2012, the find was inexplicably destroyed. So sad. And Farnetti himself reported the event in the article called Incomprehensible Act of Vandalism. And that was in May of 2012. In these days, the anthropologist Teodoro Brescia, an expert in sacred and hermetic symbolism, publishes a research entitled SATOR Niger, Ceterina de Medici, and the Enigma of the Magic Square. That was in February 2016, in which he reports a new decipherment of that symbol and identity of the Black Queen. Now there's a question. Can you explain to us what emerged from your new research? And it says, in quotation marks, it says, we need to start from the most famous 5x5 magic square, the SATOR Square. The SATOR Square says, Sator repo tenet opera rotas, which that's an ancient Roman magic square. And that's a whole other topic of debate. It means like I am the worker of wheels. It's like a protection thing. It's meant to protect the wearer, the user, and just but that's maybe I'll make a video about that too. To date, it's the oldest specimen that had been found in excavations of Pompeii, destroyed in 79 AD by the eruptions of Vesuvius. In 2005, I formulated a new decipherment linking it to the symbol of the spirit present in many ancient civilizations, including the Jewish Christian one, in which it is known as the Jewish star. It would be a mirror game, 3 elements or words plus their inverse, tenet. Tenet is used once because it applies to both triplets. At least 2 other 5x5 magic squares were then found, albeit later and less famous, the Peruvian one of Makuk, dating between the 13th and 18th centuries, and the Renaissance one, the Niger in Gubbio. My decipherment works with all 3, you say. And another question in the article, do you confirm that the one in Gubbio is Neo-Templar? In quotations it says, it is probable, it is certainly a hermetic symbol, therefore secret and written in code. Hermeticism is in fact the current which, through the recovery of Egyptian culture, most characterized the Renaissance, and whose epicenter was the Florence of the Medici, followed by the first phrase by Padua and Urbina, of which Gubbio was part of the duchy. But it was precisely the Neo-Templar hypothesis that inspired my new research on the Gubbio Square, given that the passage from Black Queen to Black Madonna is not obvious. The cult of the Virgin, which some also connect, as for the Egyptian Isis, to the ancient cult of the Mother Goddess, is fundamental in the Templars, but indicated with specific terms of Our Lady, and is not always a Black Virgin. Furthermore, there are many depictions of Madonnas with dark skin in the world. There are several hundred in Italy, France, Spain, Poland, Africa, etc. Finally, the satyr was already among the Templar symbols, so why create another equivalent one, non-specific, and always in Latin? Probably, I said to myself, the words had to be specific meaning for the Hermetic and Neo-Templar circles of Gubbio. And the next question here is, and Is it so? And above all, who is the Black Queen then? As we were saying, the best-known family promoting Hermeticism in the Renaissance was the Florence Medici family. Gubbio belonged to the Duchy and Urbino at the time and became the second residence of the ducal family at the beginning of the 1500s. The duchy was ruled for a few years by Lorenzo II de Medici, who had only one daughter, Ceterina, the only heir and therefore Duchess of Urbino and Gubbio. Passionate about Hermeticism and protector of Hermetic circles, she married a king of France, thus becoming queen due to her cold determination in some political actions, and because since her husband's death, she decided to always dress in black. She was officially defined as the Black Queen, but there's more. Ooh, the drama. If Niger-REGIN stands for Black Queen, what do the other three words, Arani, Galag, Inare, mean? Arani means protection, and Inare means to plow. So a Black Queen who protects fields, lands, or crops? But Galag is precisely the most enigmatic word, especially taking into account that it is the central one on which the entire structure of the square is based. Well, Galago was the ancient Gaelic or French way of saying, since ancient France was Gaul, where the first example of satyr was also found. Galago is still today, for example, the name of a small nocturnal monkey from Senegal. It was also given to it at the end of her 18th century. But its discovery, the French biologist Etienne Geoffroy Saint-Hilaire, precisely in honor of his homeland. Later, all the monkeys of the same family were called Galagids, or more commonly Galagans. Furthermore, Ceterina de Medici was first to bring back to court a dog already used by the Egyptian pharaohs. The greyhound later also depicted on some coins of Lorenzo the Magnificent. In fact, there was in France an ancient strain of greyhounds dating back perhaps to the 6th century BC, then imported to Spain in the 4th century BC and still exists there today. This species is called a galgo, from the Latin canis galagus, or dog, originating from Gaul, ancient France, in fact. The term Galag therefore seems to refer to the lands of France, Gaul, of which Catherine de Medici, the Black Queen, was ruler and protector, and also to the Galgo, dog of France, of which she was equally a protector and passionate as she was the Hermetic cults and groups, such as those frequented the Sibyl's Cave in Gubbio. At the time, ultimately the Niger Square could be a homage, perhaps Neo-Templar, to Ceterina de Medici, the Black Queen of France. And there's a link at the bottom here for more information. Going back to the dogs and sacred dogs, we also know too that obviously the Egyptians had a lot of sacred dog symbolism. Think about Anubis, and also in ancient times in Sicily, they had 100 dogs, sacred dogs, that were chained. They were said to be tied to the Mount Etna, the volcano, and worship of and homage to the god Adoranus. From another article, we have, and this is an article archive. It's called Gubbio, the Italian René Le Chateau. And this is by Mario Farnetti and Bruno Bartoletti. And I'll read you this. This article's a little, not super long, but it says, already when Rome was a cluster of huts overlooking an unhealthy swamp near the bend of the Tiber, our mountain was considered sacred. We were talking about Monte Ingino, or Monte di S. Ubaldo, the hill at the base of which stands the city of Gubbio, known in ancient times as Ecovium, a city-state built by the Umbrians, an Indo-European people who descended from Germany toward the end of the second millennium before the Common Era. Its language imprinted in the bronze of 7 tables, the tabulae ingovine, reverberates the solemn echoes of ancient Germanic idioms. This is where the discovery was made, a completely unexpected event in which we remained entangled as in a large spider web whose tense and subtle threads connect events distant in time and space. The center of the story are a 19th century painter, a painting with disturbing features, and a man obsessed by that painting, and then a cave halfway up Monte Ingino under a steep ridge of gray rock that emerges from the greenery. Like the knees stripped of the flesh by a titan, thrown into the bowels of the mountain by the wrath of the gods, and among the rocks near the cave appears an enigmatic crossing of incomprehensible words, albeit arranged according to the mathematical logic, according to a perfect and exclusive harmony, composed in a magic square. And again, we have the Niger, Nare, Galag, Arani, Regin Square. Not far away in a rock wall, a plaque recalls some of the verses from Dante's Paradise. And Intra Tupino, and the water that descends from the hill chosen by blessed Ubaldo, the fertile coast by the high mountain hangs, so as not to forget that that place at the time of the supreme poet was a source of pleasant waters, very different from what it is today. What strikes us immediately is Niger-REGIN, the first and last words of the palindromic square, very similar to much better known as the SATOR Square. Is this a reference to the Black Queen, perhaps an ancient cult linked to Isis? And the next part of this article is called the Isle of the Dead. The paintings we were referring to are the Isle of the Dead by Arnold Böcklin. He lived 1827 and 1901, an artist of Swiss origin who stayed in Italy for a long time and died near Fiesole. Crossing the flat surface of the sea, a boat carrying a being wrapped in a white shroud approaches a rocky outcrop emerging from the water. And a little further down, this article says, the cult of the Magdalene. Let's go back to the Black Queen. A historical excursus on the subject would certainly occupy the pages of the ponderous treatise. In summary, we could identify her with Isis or the Black Madonna of the Templars, or better, with the Magdalene. This meaning is certainly much more recent than original frequentation of the cave of S. Agnese, which should date back to at least the 3rd century BC, but which can help us to understand the importance attributed to the city of Gubbio by various esoteric circles who recognized this place particularly with spiritual values, also referring to the sacredness expressed by the ancient confraternity of the Tiadi brothers, whose rites are carefully described in the 7 tabulae ingovine. There are those who even maintain that the brotherhood has not become extinct, but continues to operate till this day. Also linked to the cult of the Magdalene could be a hill that flanks Monte Ingino in the northwest, Monte Calvo, inside the gully from which the road coming from Botticcione emerges, a site known by geologists all over the world for the presence of iridium. The 14th century hermitage of S. Ambrogio stands halfway up the hill, which coincidentally has the name of southern exposure of the Grotta di Saniese on Monte Ingino, and is located near the cave. Inside there is a tomb. We also know too that the Black Madonna, it is speculated sometimes that Black Madonnas sometimes are not only depicting the Virgin Mary, but might be a attempt to showcase the Mary Magdalene and not really showcasing the Virgin Mary, even though they're supposed to all be the Virgin Mary. There is that theory. Some people believe that as well. It's meant as an attempt to hide the fact that Mary Magdalene had a child. Some people believe it's Christ's child. It's really all speculation. Nobody really knows. There's nothing to really prove it, but it is a speculation that the Mary Magdalene is also, it's like overlapped with the Virgin Mary as being the Black Madonna. It's a spiritual thing. It's an alternative history thing. believe what you want. I don't really know the answer, but I do think it's very interesting. This article here too, I will post in the comments below, or in the section below. There's a lot of more information in here. I'm not going to read through the whole thing. It just kind of goes on and on and on and on with a bunch of stuff here. Not exactly. I don't want to read the entire thing. It's a little ad nauseum to read the entire thing, so I'm just going to stop with that one, just for right now. This last article that is connected to this this Niger-REGIN Square is also super fascinating. Not many people might be interested in this one. I was fascinated by it. I don't know how true it really is. It's a little off key with it. I shouldn't say off key, but just not exactly pertaining to the square necessarily, but it involves a hidden pyramid in Gubbio. There's lots of these claims and theories all over the world about hidden pyramids, and this looks like it was a pyramid, and it's covered up by shrubs, which maybe it was. I'm not an archaeologist. I'm not a historian, so I really can't say. I don't know. I'm not the one excavating it. And like the Bosnian pyramid, so I don't know. Either way, the article is interesting. I'll post it below. You can read it. I'm not going to read through it just because it's a little off topic from the whole thing here. But either way, give it a read and read over all the articles. And I hope it was this is interesting to many of you. I thought it was very interesting when I came across it, this Magic Square. And if you have any type of spiritual practice with the Black Madonna, I'd highly encourage using it in your space, and just going over the words of it, and just coming up with your own conclusion about it, really. I think it's open to debate, and I think it's, if scholars haven't fully figured it out, then, we really don't know. And I guess it's in the mystery, and the mystery itself is highly fascinating. So that's all I have for today, listeners. This is from Bearing the Light with your host, Salvatore, and I'll come back next week if you have any suggestions. Like and subscribe too. I always like it when you guys like and subscribe. And if you guys have any commentary, or if you have any suggestions for what you want me to put in another video, what to make, just let me know, and I'll try to make a video about it. Thanks.